Hello students, I am Dr. Garima Srivastava from Lal Bahadur Shastri College, Lucknow. Now, I am going to talk about the principles of oral communication. Now, what is oral communication? Oral communication is considered as a verbal communication. That means when we communicate through our speech, when we communicate through our spoken words with the person we intend to. Now, when we talk about oral communication, how can it be improved? When we talk about oral communication, it needs to be improved at every moment. Why? Because most of the communication in the organizations between different departments and between different people, it is being done through oral communication itself. So, when we talk about oral communication, we need to keep in mind that what can be different methods through which this oral communication can be effective. So, when we talk about these methods, it has to be some kind of mental notes have to be prepared before we are going to give any kind of oral communication. It has to be very precise. Why? Because once it is precise, it has to be delivered in a very accurate manner, because it may take a lot of time to deliver. So, to save time of the organization and cost of the organization, and of course delivering what is intended, it is necessary that we are concise and precise in giving our information. It should be very clear and concise. The information should be very clear. That means whatever whatever points you want to give, those points should be covered in the oral communication. That means you should not miss out on any of the important points. Then it has to be written out very fast. So, oral communication should always be supported with certain kind of documents, certain kind of written communication, so that once the people get them, once the people receive them, they are able to connect it with the written form and they are able to keep it for the future purpose. Then in the oral communication, we know we can have interaction with the receiver, we can have multiple queries with the receiver at the same time. So, it encourages more and more participation from the group itself. Now, when we talk about group, the group should be a very good listener in case of oral communication. So, if the group does not show any kind of interest in whatever the speaker is saying, so oral communication loses its importance. Now, for that purpose, to improve our oral communication, we have certain principles which are related to oral communication. Now, following are the 12 principles which are related to oral communication. Now, very first principle is that oral communication should be well planned. Now, well planned. Planning for the oral communication, it is very important. Now, when we plan for oral communication, of course, we are going to deliver it in our spoken words. Now, we need to keep in mind all the points which have to be spoken. Then, of course, the framework of sentences, how we are going to give them. The speaker should not be too rude, he should be very much courteous when he is talking to his audience. Of course, the speaker cannot use certain kind of technical terms or jargons or certain difficult terms when talking about communication. So, of course, all these things should be well planned, that I as a sender, how am I going to plan my oral communication, whether it will be done through a presentation or it will be done through a supportive document. So, before presenting something, there should be proper planning regarding the audience, topic to be delivered, timing and other factors. So, many other factors are responsible for well planning of any kind of delivery in oral communication. So, a person must be very well prepared to deliver his speech. Now, comes the clear pronunciation. Now, so of course, pronunciation means using of words, using of different technical terms that we are using while we are giving the presentation. So, using of these technical terms, while using these technical terms, one should be very cautious about different pronunciations that he or she is using. To make oral message meaningful to receiver, words should be clearly and correctly pronounced. So, there should not be any lack of clarity, otherwise the communication would be confusing one. So, of course, the pronunciation is very important. Now, apart from pronunciation over here, the choice of your word, choice of different words in the sentences, how you frame this sentence, it should be also very clear and it should be according to the language that is being understood by the receiver. Why? Because if it is not clear to the receiver, then there will be no point in delivering this oral communication. Now brevity. Brevity means briefness. Now how brief or how descriptive you are going to be when you are going to give any kind of oral communication. Now the brevity or briefness of your lecture or your information delivery will be considered by the sender himself. Now sender can be brief or he can be descriptive on different points as he thinks fit according to his audience. So wherever he thinks that there is a need to give more and more detailed discussion on a certain kind of topic, he can be he can take up detailed lecture, he can give detailed description of the information, and wherever he thinks the briefing of that particular topic can be done, so there he should take up brief kind of oral communication. So for effective oral communication desires that a message should be brief. Now of course in detailed kind of discussion also, you need not focus on only one point and leave all the other important points at a large. So of course brief over here also means that you take up every point in brief and you take up every point without missing other points also. So if the sender took a long time for talking or taking up one topic and for a long time, so he will have to cut short the time for the other points. His message may not get the attention of the receiver. Now the fourth one, that is precision. Now precision is made to make oral communication effective. There should not be any kind of confusion, confusing words, rather than message to be delivered should be very specific, so that there is no misunderstanding. Now precision is also related to the words, choice of technical terms that we are using in the our speech. So these technical terms should be pronounced very clearly, as well as there should be no confusion among the people, among the audience, about the definition or about the meaning of these technical terms or confusing terms that you are using in your speech. So while giving certain kind of speech, if it is important to use those technical terms, then in that case of course it is the responsibility of the sender that he makes it clear at every point, precisely on every of the terms which are being used in the communication, that the receiver is trying to understand that particular thing, or he has that understanding of that technical term. Now natural voice. Any sort of unnatural voice may distort the message. Unnatural voice can do a lot to make oral communication effective. So of course, if your voice means your noting of your voice, your pitch of your voice, it should be very much normal. Now normal means it should be normal, it should be going through with the with respect, it should be with less rudeness, and it should be delivered to the people as it is. Then the logical sequence. Now of course when delivering oral communication, it is necessary that we understand the logical sequence of this particular communication. Now logical sequence means how you are going to present this information, what would be the exact pattern, exact sequence in which this presentation will be given. So if we miss out the second and the third point, and if we directly give fourth point after the first point, and then we remember that we have missed out the second and the third point, and we give this second and the third point at the end, of course that information will go haphazard and create more and more confusion among the receiver. So idea should be to organize in a sequential way to make the message communicate and attractive. So to make the message more attractive, more communicative, this sequence is necessary for giving the oral communication. Unorganized ideas do not provide clear sense, while a logical sequence of ideas give a clear sense. Suitable words. Words have different meanings to different people in different situations in oral communication. A speaker should use the common, simple and familiar words so that the receiver can react to the message without any problem. So while using various words, various terms in the organization, it is important that we choose specific words, we choose those words which are of more meaningfulness or which are more clearly understandable by the people who are receiving it. For example, if we take the word crane, C-R-A-I-N-E. Now crane can be taken up as a bird also, and it can be taken as a machine in the, suppose farm some fields. So, it is important over here if I am using the word crane, CRANE. So, I would have to focus on this word, I would have to give more pitch on this word, so that whoever is my receiver, he understands which type of crane, what crane I am going to talk about. Then attractive presentation, it is another simple principle to make oral communication more effective. So, I have already talked about it. When we talk about oral communication only, that means we are just where the sender is just speaking and the receiver is receiving the information. Over there are chances of getting confused, there are chances of getting the message to be leaked out, and there are chances of less grasping among the receiver. So, to increase all these 3 points, there is a necessity to support it with a kind of attractive presentation. Now, this attractive presentation, what does this do? Along with this presentation, if I am going to give the oral communication, it becomes more and more effective. Why? Because the sender is sending the information, the speaker is sending the information, and with that only what happens, the person is able to understand whatever the sender is speaking through the supportive presentation. But this won't happen, it won't be more effective in case my audience is illiterate, or my audience is not able to read the language in which the presentation is being given. So, for that purpose, if it is possible, support your oral presentation with certain kind of demos, or either give pictorial kind of representations in your presentation. So, the people who will not be able to understand the words, who will not be able to understand the speeches, they will be able to understand the various diagrams, various figures that you have embedded in your presentations. Now, coming down to the ninth principle, that is courteous. Courtesy costs nothing but can earn many things. So, a speaker should be courteous while addressing the listeners. That means he should not be rude enough. The speaker, as a speaker, he should be very courteous, he should be very humble, he should be very calm, he should be very much understanding the situation of the receiver. He should be we should try to set up a eye to eye contact with the receiver, so as to make a kind of relationship with the receiver. So, whenever we talk about oral communication, a sender will always do what? A sender has to build up certain kind of you can say relationship with the receiver or the person at the other end. So, over there if the person at the other end, he is not being empathetic, he is not being able to understand the speaker. So, in that case, whatever has been sent in the oral communication becomes less effective. So, for that purpose, it is the responsibility of the speaker that he should be courteous while addressing his listeners. It creates a very good impression in the minds of the listeners regarding the speaker. So, there comes a chances of empathy, there comes a chances of understanding the listener or the speaker in the minds of the receiver. So, once the speaker is courteous, he talks to his receiver with humbleness, with courtesy, then the receiver also thinks about the speaker and tries to understand whatever the speaker is speaking. Then comes the avoiding emotions. A speaker must control his emotions to make oral communication effective. So, while communicating, empathy is important, but emotions should be less. So, if while giving any kind of oral communication, I make certain kind of jokes or certain kind of other thing, I include other things rather than my topic in my communication, and more other kind of emotions will be set up. So, by setting up these kind of emotions, the original content of my communication will be lost. So, emotion should be avoided at large. Too much of emotions will take the speaker away from the subject. Okay. So, if I talk more and more about emotions, if I talk more and more about other things, the topic of my discussion will be changed, the topic of my discussion will be hindered. Then comes the emphasis. The speaker must be knowledgeable regarding the portion of his speech where he should give emphasis. Giving emphasis on respective points will help draw attention to the audience. Of course, emphasis is very important when I am talking about different terms, when I am talking about different portions, or when I am talking about my regular speech. The regular speech goes in a simple tone, simple pitch. Then over there emphasis can be made by changing the pitch or the tone of my language. So, why do I do so as a sender? Why? Because if I am changing a pitch on a certain word, say suppose crane, so of course I am trying to point out on that particular word that receiver should look out at this word and he should understand that I am trying to say something very specific about this word. So, that is why principle of emphasis is very important. So, in a running oral communication, it is important that important points are to be highlighted through emphasis. So, because it helps to draw more and more attention of the receiver on the running text, on the running conversation between the sender and the receiver. Now, the last and the 12th principle, that is controlling gesticulations. A speaker at many occasions consciously or unconsciously gesticulates for expressing his ideas or thoughts. This is a habit should be avoided, otherwise application of such habit may lead to percentage disinterested of the audience. Besides objective information, the capacity of the listener, interesting language, proper fluency should be considered also as the principles of oral communication. Now, of course, apart from controlling various kind of emotions, it is also important to control various kind of gesticulations, gestures that we are using to give our presentation. So, of course, gestures and that part of non-verbal communication should also be considered, because oral communication always comes with non-verbal communication. When I am coming here and standing in front of you all and giving a certain kind of presentation, my body language, my dressing sense, the pitch of my language, the pitch of my words or choice of my words, sentences, framing of sentences, all this need to be controlled by the sender itself. So, for that purpose, A to Z of everything, that means verbal communication as well as non-verbal communication along with written communication should be given to make any kind of communication effective. Now, we can say an attractive presentation and controlling gesticulation can be two parts, where we talk about the effectiveness of any kind of oral communication. So, for attractive presentation, it is important that we be precise, natural voice tone is necessary, briefing of every of the points that have to be covered in the presentation, suitable words, a choice of suitable words is important, precise words, precise statements should be given, attractive, it should be always supported with attractive presentations, emphasis should be given on the points which are important and which need to be highlighted by the receiver, and it should avoid any kind of emotions to a large extent. Now, coming down to controlling of gesticulations, that means whenever we are preparing our presentation, our communication, the logical sequence need to be considered. What is the basic logical sequence? Then comes that the speaker should be courteous enough that he understands the listener. Then again, emphasis is a point which needs to be covered under gesticulation also, and the speaker should be courteous enough. Then comes the next topic, that is conversation control. Now, what is conversation control? The ability to control conversation ensures that you can steer a conversation into positive direction that meets your need. Now, conversation control means whenever two people are conversing with each other, whenever two people are talking with each other, it is an art, it is a skill through which one person can mold that conversation into a positive outcome or into a negative outcome. For example, one person receives a call from, suppose, a customer care of a Maruti dealer. Now, suppose this person calls the customer for the purpose of getting the car maintained or getting the car serviced. Now, this conversation can be turned out into a positive conversation if it is being done in a very proper manner, and if it is being done in taking into consideration all the points or principles of oral communication. Now, whether you are using your conversation control to lead the business discussion or personal talk, employing control techniques will prevent the conversation from heading into areas you do not wish to discuss and help you to leave the positive impression. Now, of course, conversation is also a part of oral communication, wherein we need to keep in mind, we need to keep the things which we will not be taking up, which are actually the don'ts of that particular communication. Now, till now we were talking about what should be done for effective communication. Now, for conversation control, it is necessary to keep in mind various don'ts that need to be considered while communicating orally. So, what is conversation control? It refers to the skills of listening and talking in a positive and meaningful way at an appropriate time. That means, whenever you are talking, it comes at random, your skills, that you are listening to something and you are converting that particular opportunity into a positive and meaningful way. Conversation control helps participation conclude their conversation effectively and satisfactorily with mutual understanding and agreement. That means, the conversation control, will be with the speaker himself. He will conclude, he will try to mold that conversation into a positive manner, in a satisfactory manner, where the satisfaction will come from the part of your listener, and whatever things they reach to, whatever agreements they reach to, is always on a mutual part. Now, when we talk about techniques of conversation control, what can be the various techniques through which we can control our conversation into a positive manner? The first one is recognizing cues and clues. Now, that means, what are the basic points that I as a sender, I as a distributor of information will take up the points, will take up the clues that are being given by the person on the other side. Now, it is very important for the person to have presence of mind to pick up those clues or points that have been recognized as opportunity. Now, once I am able to understand, I as a sender am able to understand the various clues, various points which are being taken up, which can be converted into positive points. So, then only I would be able to converse, I will be able to control this conversation into a positive point. Then, interpreting signs and signals. Now, it is important that whatever clues I am taking up, as a positive point, or I am taking up as an opportunity to convert it into a positive signal. Now, it is necessary to interpret those signs and signals also. So, interpreting means whether the person at the other end is saying yes for a no or is saying no for a no. That means, whether the person is able to understand what I am going to deliver, or the person is saying the thing as yes under some kind of misimpression or miscommunication. Now, this needs to be very clear in the mind of the sender. So, whenever I am going to do this kind of oral communication, the conversation control will only take place if our sender is able to interpret the different signs and signals. So, these signs and signals can also be understood through various notes, you can say various body languages which are being interpreted by the people at the other end, or which are being given by the receiver at the other end. Then next, avoiding parallel communication. Now, of course, when we talk about oral communication, parallel communication should be avoided. That means, it should be so much controlled that once the speaker is speaking, he should be able to speak, he should be able to complete his point, and then only the receiver should be asked to give the answer or take up the queries. This is called as avoiding parallel communication, because suppose interrupting into the in between the speaker and receiver comes up and says his own points, then at that point the speaker will not be able to make the people understand the point and neither will the receiver be able to understand what the speaker was going to say. So, it is important that speech on both the ends should complete on their own parts. So, a speaker should complete speaking, then only the receiver should speak, and then at the same time when the receiver is saying, whenever the receiver is giving any kind of questions, putting up any kind of questions, he should be allowed to put all the questions and he should be given so much of time also, and then only the speaker should give the answers. Now, practicing sequential conversation. Now, sequential conversation can only be practiced when we converse continuously on a particular thing. So, this is only called as experience. So, when we talk about telephonic interviews, when we talk about oral communication, it comes through practicing only. So, while talking about various conversations, while talking about delivering different information, it is important that the sequence of this information should be in a proper manner. Now, using reflections and empathy. Conversation control can be done in a very easy manner through reflection and empathy. Now, reflection means it helps the speaker to listen to his own thoughts before delivering it to receiver. That means I am going to practice it and I am going to record it. I am as a sender, I am going to listen whatever I was speaking, and then only I will deliver. Through this, the speaker will be able to understand what were the drawbacks of my speaking and what were the points which I missed out. Similarly, empathy is on the part of the receiver. Now, a receiver should be empathetic enough, he should be able to understand the basic formula behind sending the information. So, if the receiver is not empathetic, then he will not be able to understand what speaker is trying to say. Now, cultivate a sense of timing. So, of course, whatever is being done through oral communication, it should always be governed with time, because if the speaker takes more time to speak a particular topic, then he can make many confusions, he can make many mistakes, because over elaboration on a particular topic may make the receiver confusing, and if suppose he does not take time and delivers it in a very fast manner, then also confusions can be arising. So, a proper timing, proper sense of timing for delivering oral communication is very important. Now, when we talk about applying conversation control in the skills of business, it can be applied in the following areas: selling and buying, negotiating, interviewing, participating in meetings, disagreeing without being rude, protesting without offending, complimenting, praising, responding to personal criticism. Then how you manage negative responses in the suppose conversation control. Now, when we talk about conversation control, always there is not a positive intention behind the conversation. Now, how we are going to react to these negative responses? Now, show that you do not doubt the positive intentions of the other person. Now, whenever you understand, you have an intention that you are going to face certain kind of negative responses, there as a sender you need to put up a positive intention, or you need to build up a positive motivation or guidance to the other person, that whatever you are speaking will negate the negative responses that are going to come up. Then use the expressions such as you are right about that, but avoid completely rejecting the other person's arguments. Now, of course, whenever you are confronted with negative kind of negative kind of statements, there you need to interrupt the person by saying that you are right about it, but. Now, this sentence will keep the emotional content, will keep the other person also at a right position while delivering the lecture. So, over here I will say that you are right, but it can be taken up in this particular manner. Do not use negative expressions, instead saying perhaps you do not know, try to make perhaps you know. Now, of course, you should communicate with the person, you can agree with the person, but you can present your own point of view as a sender. So, of course, now at the end I would like to say that If we talk about oral communication, it should always be done for the purpose of controlling conversation into a very positive manner for the positive output for the organization. Thank you.